Hi, I'm Steve Peterson.
And I'm Mindy Peterson.
We're part of a ministry called Fresh Start for All Nations. We love to help men, women, and young people resolve the issues of their heart through the power of forgiveness and freedom in Christ. We have written a little booklet.
It's called Processing the Issues of Your Heart. And we had some people over lately, and this is what happened. Well, I just want to thank everybody for coming. We've really missed you guys, and we just thought we could maybe have a little get-together and catch up on all of you.
Yes, I couldn't agree more, honey. I'm excited. We love you guys. It's great to get together, get caught up, find out what's going on, get some heart updates. So maybe we can start with David.
Yeah, thanks. It's great to be here. Things are going well, and looking forward to hearing from everybody. How you doing, Bob?
You know, I'm doing okay. You know, things are going pretty well, but I'm looking for a job right now. So if anybody knows of a job that's out there, I'm looking. So keep me in mind.
Things are going well for us. Our grandkids are healthy, so I really can't complain.
I want to be able to say that everything's going well with me, but this week has been a struggle for me. It's been a hard week. I have a close friend, and she said some things to me that really, really hurt my feelings. It was really, really hard to hear, and I'm just really struggling in that relationship. I don't know what to do. I keep replaying the thoughts in my mind, and it's just been a hard week.
No, I can really identify with that, Diane, and I'm so sorry because I know how that hurts.
Yes.
I just really care.
Yes, I care too. You're a precious sister and friend, and just so glad you feel free to be known, share your heart. In fact, I think there's something that we could share with you all that I think would be of help to you and to all of us. And because life's all about relationship, and our hearts get affected. And if we aren't careful, they can become infected. So I think this would help. So honey, do we have any of those booklets?
We do.
So what is this
Thank you.
book that you're referring to?
Well, we call it Processing the Issues of Your Heart. Process, because life is a process. Heart, because I believe we live in a spiritual war zone, and the war is for the heart. Hearts are affected all the time. When you think about it, who hasn't been hurt or offended or suffered a loss? We care about what you're talking about, and yet I'm sure we can all identify. So maybe we can just take a look at this booklet a little bit. I think it'll be of help to you, Diane, and help to all of us as we move forward. Notice in the beginning it says offense, hurt, and loss. Who or what has offended you or hurt you? Or what have you lost, or who have you lost? And you've made reference to that already. I really believe there's a biblical basis for this. Psalm 26:2 says, "Test me, O Lord, and try me. Examine my heart and my mind." So it's an invitation. Lord, you make the issues. I'm not trying to make the issues. I'm not trying to find somebody to blame. I'm not looking for a problem. Whatever is true, Lord, whatever I need to see, whatever I need to do, bring it to light. I also like to think in terms of the big ideas with each part of this process. The first big idea is who or what is in your gap. Think of it this way. What's the Lord like? Loving, kind, forgiving. That's what our Heavenly Father's like. What's that other person like? Well, at a given point in time, they may not be loving, kind, and forgiving. The difference between the two is the gap. Now, from relationship to relationship, the gap may vary. You know, sometimes that other person is very kind and caring and forgiving. Most of the time, the gap's pretty small. But in some relationships, it's huge. There's the gap. Plus, he's got a design for that relationship. He would want that relationship to always include kindness and courtesy, no matter what the relationship. And of course, a deeper relationship would include more intimacy, more servant heartedness, more disclosure of heart, more sharing of heart, all of that according to his design. Well, he has his design. we have our experience. Is there a gap?
Well, Pastor Steve, what do you mean by an unmet expectation?
An unmet expectation could be something I desire that's not being met. Simply that. So a desire for that other person to take an interest, to be kind, to be courteous, to be loyal, to be faithful, and when they're not, an unmet expectation. So other questions could be helpful too.
In regards to my hurts, offenses, and losses, how specific should I really be about them?
Well, I really believe a lot of times when we're not specific enough and we are dealing with God and He's dealing with our hearts, there's room to go through this process, and then at the end there's room for these thoughts to come back in, but what about this or what about that? And so it's so good to get all of that out at the beginning, and then there it's like, well, I've already dealt with that. That was part of the offense, hurt, or loss, or how it affected me.
I was wondering, like, do I even need to process someone that's no longer a part of my life?
For the sake of your heart, yes. Because it's so important to keep in mind that people, places, and things have the potential of affecting our hearts. And if we don't take care of our hearts, which this booklet is all about processing the issues of your heart and taking care of your heart, so that it doesn't become infected. It's been affected, but we don't want it to become infected. So whether that person is around, whether they're alive, whether they live in another state, whether we never see them again, has our heart been affected? That's the starting point. That's the key perspective. It is about our heart. I love what it says in Proverbs 4:23. Above all else, that gets my attention. Above all else. Guard, not build a fortress, build a wall, keep people out. No, guard as in take care of. Take care of your heart. This booklet, Processing the Issues of Your Heart, is a tool to take care of your heart.
I understand how this book helps you process a hurt or an offense, but what if it's a loss and I really don't even have anyone to forgive?
That is a great question. This, again, is a process that starts with the heart. It doesn't start with, well, just forgive them, get over it. No, it starts with the heart. How has your heart been affected? When it comes to processing a loss, it's the same process as if we're going to forgive someone. We start with the first part, who or what has hurt you or offended you, what have you lost? And we go to the second part, which we'll get to in a moment, and the third part, and then finally we'll come to the point of release, which doesn't necessarily mean you will forgive, but there will be a release. So as you look through the booklet, you'll see some engaging questions. This booklet is full of questions to prompt you. Different relationship scenarios like marriage and family and work-related and other things like that. And the second part of the first process talks about loss. Maybe it was the loss of a job, maybe the loss of a loved one, maybe the loss of a dream. So these questions in part one are intended to prompt us, seed our thinking, so to speak, and then what applies to us. Diane, I'm so glad you brought up your situation, your recent situation with that friend. You can see what kind of discussion and questions have been generated. I mean, this is real life stuff. I love it. Life's all about relationship. We don't have to just be survivors, we can thrive. And this will help us take care of our hearts. So just to conclude this first part of the process, I think it's so important that we are detailed, that we're specific. If it helps us to write down our answers to the questions, that can be helpful. We might need some extra paper. The booklet probably doesn't have enough room for some of us in certain situations. But I like to think of it in terms of just taking a total inventory of anybody and everybody that comes to mind that's ever hurt you or offended you or any loss, and just write it down. And then choose one. that you're going to process next. And if there's more, there's more. But we have found that with some relationships and with some issues of the heart related to losses, as you process them, it's like some of the things that bothered us before, some of the situations that mattered to us before, don't matter anymore. So it's not like if we come up with a list of 100, well, man, we got to go through this 100 times. But there'll be the power of each time, the power that we will experience. It's amazing. A transformed heart. That's what God's desiring. So before we go on to the second part, think in terms of if I were going to choose one, I'm not limited to one, but what would be the one? Who would be the one that I would choose? I think that'll help us get the most out of our discussion today, our interaction, our sharing, our questions, if we just think of one and then apply that all the way through.